Hi everybody! Today I'm back working on the Wizard from Christine Karron's Flower Folk book, and you might notice a couple of little changes from since we last left off. I have actually framed him off now, and I did that by just measuring equal distances from the edges of the page, drawing in the lines and making a frame, and that's just so I have a kind of area where I know I'm going to put my background instead of letting it all be random. I figured it might be nice just to give him a little bit of a frame, and I have worked on trying to figure out a combination to colour the red, as these are new pencils. I've worked out my combination for red, but I had to admit defeat when it came to shading this gold. So I've gone back to my Castle Arts gold to actually shade the gold. And I have put a little tiny bit of glitter. We can get it to shine, but yeah, there on his cuff. Because Rincewind he has loads of glitter and sequins and all that kind of stuff on his robes and his hat. So I figured that would fit him quite nicely. And for today, as was suggested on one of my other videos, I'm going to try and do the this or that tag, which is basically a list of 20 questions asking you which you prefer out of two options, this or that. So yeah, I'll try and go through those and answer those as we're going. And I'll just show you how I coloured this red and the gold. I'm not sure I'll be able to get much more done than maybe his robes and his hat today, because it's quite late in the day now and I've finally gotten time to film. So yeah, I'll just show you how I did that. Try and answer these questions and we'll see how we go. If I do get onto anything else, then that's great, but I don't think I will personally. So I'll just show you the colours that I'm actually shading the red with. Okay, here are the colours I was using for this red here. And again, it's the Amazon Basics 48 set of pencils because I'm trying to stick to that as much as I can. It's white 501, blush 518, red 510, geranium red 511, this one's hiding, that's red brown 559. And for the shadows, instead of using black, which can make things look a bit flat if you just use black throughout for your shading, I've used Prussian blue. It's 529, and when you go over it with the red, it does give it a little bit of a purplish tinge, which ties in with the purple that we used on his face. So yeah, that seemed to work quite nicely. There we go. I'm just starting with the red brown. It's kind of a sort of medium colour, I suppose. Just to try and figure out where the very basic shadows are going to go. And as you can see here for his hat, I've added a little kind of cross-hatching sort of effect, and that's to show that his robes and his hat are kind of threadbare. And yeah, he's a bit he's down on his luck. He doesn't have that much cash, so his robes and his hat are pretty threadbare. According to descriptions in the novel, so I'm playing with that, which will kind of feed in with there is sort of a cross-hatching texture anyways, as Christine Karron has drawn the picture, so I'm just playing into that a little bit. I'm going to try and leave it quite light up towards the line of his shoulder there, because then the contrast with the shadow in his actual hat would be would make that stand out nicely. And yeah, I'm just going to try and show you how I coloured the red and the gold. Not sure how long that would take, although earlier on it was kind of taking a lot less time than I thought it would, because it is quite a little picture. It's right in the middle of the page, and the picture itself is actually smaller than A4. So yeah, it's quite a small picture. Hopefully it won't take too long, because this week has been pretty busy for me, to be perfectly honest, and I'm behind on the amount of pictures that I've done. But I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to do what I feel like doing. I don't really want to make myself feel pressured or anything. And there we go, that was the Prussian blue. I'm going to go over that with the geranium red, and I'll start with number 1 in the questions for the this or that tag, which I've written all down in my handy little notebook here. The first question is, do I prefer alcohol markers or water-based markers? Ooh. I've just written these down. I haven't really thought of answers or anything, so there might be a few pauses for thought among these questions here. So alcohol markers or water-based? Well, as with this picture, that I tend to use alcohol markers a lot as a base. So I do love those, but lately I've been really getting into my Crayola Super Tips. So I'd rather I didn't have to choose, to be perfectly honest. I'd rather use both of them. But if I have to choose, I'd probably say alcohol markers because, yeah, not every paper will take the water-based marker, I think. So, yeah, alcohol markers. Although, water-based markers you can use in double-sided books, which is a plus point. And that was the red. I'm going to go in with the blush now, kind of a peachy colour, which is, yeah, it might seem like a bit of an odd choice for colouring red, but it's part of my colour combinations for doing mushrooms. So I thought I'd try it and it seemed to work. I'll give it that kind of threadbare look going on, I think. And anyway, yeah, if I was pushed to make a choice, I think I use the alcohol markers more than I use the geranium red, more than I use the water-based markers at the moment, even though water-based markers are really fun. I'd probably say alcohol markers for that one. Although, as I've said, I use both, so. Right. I want to bring this in quite dark here so that there'll be quite dark shadows behind his hand. I'll bring in this Prussian blue. I really do love Prussian blue. It's one of my favourite colours for shadows. I don't want to use it too much towards the outside. I want to leave the outside of like his hat and stuff highlighted because the background is going to be mainly Prussian blue. If it goes how I planned, it might not. But we'll see. Okay, bringing the red again. Again, I usually do just playing with it too until it looks kind of how I want it to. I think keeping it kind of sketchy because the actual line art is kind of like pencil sketchy. Plus, if you look at it from a distance, it doesn't make a lot of difference. It kind of all blends together anyways. Maybe that blue is a little bit too prominent there. I'll try going over with the reddish brown. As I move on to the second question. In my usual highly disorganised fashion, getting more caught up in the colouring than actually the questions. But question 2 is Jade Summer line art or Jade Summer grayscale? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I've got any Jade Summer books. I might have is the Art Nouveau one Jade Summer? I can't even remember. So I'll answer in general. In general, I would prefer line art or very light grayscale, I think. But line art more than grayscale, because I think when you're colouring grayscale, you're more limited in like where you can put your light source and your shadows and all that stuff. So it does limit you for being a bit less creative, I think. You have to go with what the artist has actually given you as your values and shades and stuff. So like in grayscale, if someone is done in grayscale with dark hair, you can't really make them blonde. It would be very difficult to make them blonde. So it takes away a lot of your choices, I think, grayscale. Although I have experimented with it a bit lately. And I've quite enjoyed the ones that I've done. And I have bought a Hanna grayscale book to have a bit of a go at. So I do enjoy it kind of occasionally. I think it was an occasionally thing. Grayscale, I'd much rather have the line art that I can be a bit more experimental with, and I can do a lot more of what I actually want to do. So yeah, for that one, I think I'd probably stick with the line art. So here we're going in with the red brown. I'm not entirely sure what colour I'm going to do as staff yet. I know this orb on the top is going to be like yellow and glowing, so we might want to move in, bring the lemon yellow, and add a little bit of the yellow light into his robe while I'm thinking about it. I think on the original art there is a little bit of the yellow coming through there. It might be onto a sleeve actually. And that one. And the yellow would be here if it's glowing off his staff. Just pop it in just to remind me that it is supposed to be there, otherwise I'll forget all about it and just colour the red and forget all about it. But there we go, there's the lemon yellow. Back to my brown. And yeah, for the answer to that question, I've never tried Jade Summer either way, so if I did, maybe the answer would change. In general, I would much rather colour line art, but grayscale in moderation is fine. I don't mind it. I can cope with it now. I think I've had a little bit of practice. Again, try and bring in that kind of cross-hatching here for a bit of texture and showing that his robe is a little bit worn out and threadbare in places, which is the plan. I'm hoping that's that's what it looks like anyway. Maybe we'll move on to question number 3. Prismas or polychromos? Well, I've never tried Prismacolors. I've never tried them. Polychromos, yeah, I quite like them. I use the black and the white a lot. The white for highlights and blending, and the black for being a decent black for shadows. And I bought those open stock. I do have a random set of 12 colours. Just bear with me, I'll just show you the random set of 12 colours. I think I must be using one of them for something at the moment. Don't ask me what, I've taken it out. I'm putting it carefully away with another set of pencils somewhere. But just to give you an idea, those are some of the colours I got. There is another one somewhere, I can't remember which one it is and what I'm using it for. But those are the only polychromos I have, aside from black and white. I'm not sure if there was a black or a white in there. That could be what I was using. But those are the polychromos colours that I have. I've tried them a couple of times, I think, but I think being the more expensive brand of pencils and I'm more used to the cheaper ones, yeah, they're a bit weird to me at the moment. I'm not used to doing tons of layering. I do a few layers, but not as many as polychromos seem to be made for, I think. Yeah, I would love to try Prismas. I have heard a lot of good things about them. I think I'll try and save up for a small set and see how I get along with those. They're supposed to be really, really soft and really easy to blend. I don't know. I'm not the best at blending anyways. So at the moment, I would have to say the polychromos because I haven't actually tried Prismacolors. This is Geranium Red. I'm just going in kind of in those shadowy bits. I'm bringing the white in the middle there to show that's where the light is shining. Hopefully it will show over the marker, but okay, there we go, getting carried away again. Next question. Hanna Karlzon or Maria Trolle? Trolle. I don't know how to say it. I've only actually got one of her books, Maria Trolle, and it was a bit of a disaster. I think you've probably seen it in a couple of my videos before now, telling you how bad the paper is because I bought a German version instead of going for the more expensive hardcover version. I bought a German version that was softcover, and which I didn't realise the paper was so much different. But yeah, I love the pictures in that one. It's Moon Valley, I think, Mandalas. I'm not sure on all the different titles. It's got different titles in many different languages, but yeah, the one I've got is the German version and the paper is terrible, so I'm going to have to either figure out a way to work with it or just bite the bullet and buy a new one with the better paper in it. So for now, for that one, I'll have to say Hanna Karlzon because, yeah, I do have one of her books. I have the Spirit Animals, or what else is it called? Soulmates, is it called? Yeah, I have that one. And I do like that one. I've coloured one double page spread in that. And I have the Colouring Heaven Hanna Karlzon special. what's it called? Dreamtime Special or something like that it's called. And that's Hanna karlzon, and I really do like that. I've coloured quite a few in that one. So yeah, out of those two, mainly by merit of not actually having coloured Maria Trolle very much, I'm going to have to say Hanna karlzon to that one. But yeah, all these answers, as always, just my opinion. So. Alright, colour by number or non-colour by number? Well, definitely non-colour by number. I don't have any colour by number books. And as I've said about greyscale being very limiting, and you know, you have to colour certain areas a certain way, I think unless I really went off the rails, did my own colours and completely ignored the colour by number, which is, you know, against the whole point of having a colour by number book, then yeah, I wouldn't really like it, I don't think. I know you can just use your own colours and colour them however you really want to, but yeah, that's kind of beside the point of buying one in the first place. You might as well just buy a normal colouring book and just colour it the way that you want to, in my opinion. I know lots of people do like colour by numbers, and yeah, it's not something for me, I don't think. It's a bit too restrictive, I think. I don't have any colour by number books, as I said, and I don't really feel the urge to try it, to be perfectly honest. Unless it's something like, oh, what's it called? Quirkles? I could see myself trying Quirkles. Or just picking your own colours and colouring all the different circles in the shades of the colour. I could see myself trying that, but normal colour by number, then no. Definitely, that is not for me, I don't think. Not my kind of style. I'm a bit too kind of experimental, and I want to bring in different, you know, collage and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it's not for me. I know there's going to be people in the comments telling me, oh, you can do that with colour by number, but I just think that if you're going to do that and just ignore the whole colour by number, then you might as well just buy a normal colouring book anyway. just my opinion, please don't flame me. That's just kind of the way I see it. Okay, mandalas or patterns? A short answer, no. No, I don't do mandalas or patterns. Wallpaper pages, nope. I don't do them either. No, mandalas, just not my thing. I've tried colouring. I think I coloured one that was sort of a mandala in the Circle of Life book by Melpomene Chattopadhyay. I coloured one in there which was like rabbits, and it technically wasn't even a mandala really per se. It was just like a little bit repetitive, and even that was enough to put me off. I don't do kind of repetitive things. I get a bit too bored with doing anything like that, I think. So yeah, mandalas or patterns, and neither really would be my answer to that one. If I was hard pushed, if I really, really had to choose, I would probably say mandalas if I really, really, really had to choose, just because they're kind of more pleasing to the eye to me, I think. But yeah, I'd rather not choose and not do either of them, to be perfectly honest. And as usual, I'm just beating the head colouring along without even saying which pencils I'm using. But as I've gone through the colours, the only ones that will look slightly similar, I think, is the geranium red and the red. But the colour combination is the same throughout it, unless I bring in black a little bit later on, which I don't really want to unless I can help it. I want to keep the shadows to be the Prussian blue, because yeah, that's a lot more kind of colourful and less flat. I was always taught when I was taught that make your darks colourful. That's why I don't really like using black unless it really, really needs it. You know, sometimes you just need it to get something to pop or stand out. And if my art teachers could see me using white gel pen the way I do, yeah, they would not be happy. I'd be at the principal's office. But anyway, double-sided or single-sided is the next question. I think that's number 7. The question. No, that's a tough one. I don't really mind either, unless you've got, yeah, as long as you've got nice quality paper. Yeah, as long as you've got nice quality paper that can take water media, I don't mind, because I'll just use my water media. If I can't use my alcohol markers, I'll go in with the super tips and just wet them down, or I'll take my watercolor in, just because it speeds things up a heck of a lot to be able to have that base in your background without spending all the time putting layers and layers of pencil down. I've gone a bit too crazy with my white there. So yeah, I don't really mind, but again, if I'm being pushed to choose, I'd probably say single-sided if I was being pushed to choose, because you can still use your alcohol markers, you can use your water media even on single-sided. You can basically use any medium that you want. You can collage, you know, cut bits out, do everything you want to do with it. This is the red. Yeah, so it gives you a lot more scope, I think, if you've got the single-sided. But then I don't mind the double-sided really too much at all, as long as the paper is good. Like maybe Kirby Roseanne his books are usually double-sided, but then the paper is pretty good, so you can use the watercolor without it, yikes, you know, going through. I can't see Amazon paper being double-sided, because anything you use would be going straight through, and yeah, not really working. Yeah, here we go. I'm just using the same colours that I showed at the beginning, different layers of them. No special formula as usual. I just play with it, fake it till you make it kind of thing. Play with it till it works. But you can see how I'm doing it in the camera. And yeah, if you don't want to listen, feel free to mute me. I will not be sad or upset if you mute my commentary. But I thought it might be interesting just to try and answer these questions. Yeah, double-sided or single-sided? I would say single-sided if I had to choose. I mean, they're both nice. I don't mind, but if I was really, really pushed to choose, you know, if the fate of the world depended on it, I would say single-sided, just because it gives you scope to use your alcohol markers and stuff like that. Doing the shadows first on this sleeve. I wanted quite a lot of contrast on this sleeve to try and have this, you know, his arms look as if they are in front of him. And my border, I kind of finished up here so that this ribbon could kind of be the bottom border, if that makes sense. And I just carried on, filled in these with the alcohol marker, and we'll be smoothing out the kind of blobbiness of the alcohol markers with the pencils, hopefully. So I just want to make sure there's quite a bit of contrast in this sleeve. Okay, next question is single page or double page spread. Again, I don't mind. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I just want to do something, you know, quick, simple, that doesn't seem like it's too much work, especially if I've been at work that day and I just want something little and simple, like you know, Morgan O'Brien, I Have the Way Home, and I know a lot of people are enjoying the Matchstick Mouse books at the moment, and yeah, that kind of thing. Sometimes that's all you need. You just want to relax and chill and put the pencils to the paper. But sometimes I'm just in the mood for something, yeah, you know, I'm ready to face something big, something that's going to take me a while to do, you know, something I need to think about. So then maybe I'll go for a double page spread, although I haven't coloured one for a while. But a lot of the colouring pages I've been colouring quite lately have been big, the big square book kind of size. So Yeah, if it's a little book like maybe Hanna Karlzon size, like that, then yeah, double page spreads are not as much of a lot of work. So mainly I think I do colour the single pages, but yeah, sometimes you're just in the mood for doing something big and it catches your eye and you're like, yeah, that I want to do today. I just tend to do pages that sort of speak to me, that I look at them and I start to get ideas, and if that's single page or double page, it doesn't matter. I just go with whatever ideas I have, and that's what keeps me going throughout the double page spread. Although if it's something with lots of foliage and trees, leaves, that kind of thing, yeah, that it would take a heck of a lot to keep me interested to colouring that, because yeah, it's just not my thing to colour. In the main though, oops, wrong one. I think we need the geranium red. In the main though, I think mainly I colour the single page, but I'd like to have a couple of double page spreads just still hanging around for those days when I'm in the mood for it. Sorry, my tablet froze there. I think it was because I was zoomed in a little bit too much. It's very super sensitive. In that regard, it's not sensitive as in being able to pick up all the different colours when I haven't got the lamp on, but it's sensitive in that it gets a bit cranky if I zoom in a little bit too much. But anyways, the next question I think I got to was it hoo-hoo markers or Cali art markers? Well, I don't have any Cali art markers, to be honest with you, again, so I can't really comment on those. I do have a hoo-hoo markers. I got the big old set of a hoo-hoo markers, 100 and something. So yeah, I've tried a hoo-hoo markers and I really like those. My other set of markers is Touch Cool, which yeah, I got those for a really cheap price on Amazon Warehouse one time. And at the time, I'd been really wanting to try using markers as a base behind my pencils for colouring, so I spotted those on a deal. I think they were like £5 for 80 or something like that. So yeah, I jumped on those. I don't know why they were that cheap. There was nothing wrong with them, but I grabbed them up anyway, and I used those for ages. They're starting to run out now because I used them for so much. And yeah, I just fell in love with the idea of using markers as a base for my pencils. Let's try and blend this blue in a little bit better so it doesn't look so stark. That's better. Again, the problem of not being able to do super many layers, but yeah, once those start running out, I might look into getting another cheaper set, because I don't think you especially need the dearer ones. The Yahoo ones are good because they have the brush tip on them, which is great if you're wanting to do detail. It's quite hard to get into detail just with the small kind of bullet point that a lot of markers have. It's hard to get into details with those. I do use chisel quite a lot, especially when I'm just colouring faces. Those are the colours that I tend to wear out first. Is the flesh colours and cream. Cream I seem to use a lot of. So yeah, for that one I'd have to say a hoo-hoo markers, mainly because I haven't actually tried. I haven't actually tried Cali art markers. If I ever spot them on an Amazon deal, then yeah, I'll probably end up buying them. But at the moment, then yeah, that's a hoo-hoo markers. Okay, we're getting on quite well with this now. How are we doing time-wise? I'm just over half an hour, so yeah, not too bad. It's nice to have something to talk about without feeling. I always feel really awkward when I fall silent, and yeah, I get involved in what I'm doing. I fall silent. And I start to feel a little bit awkward when I remember that I'm supposed to be talking. So yeah, the next question I might have to skip question number 10. We are halfway through. Question number 10 is colour by number with white background or black background. And as I already said, I don't do colour by number. I don't have any colour by number books at all. So yeah, I'm not entirely qualified to be answering that question. My answer would be neither, again, because I don't do colour by numbers. So yeah, next question. White Posca or white gel pen? Well, definitely, I've never really tried white Posca. Again, I've never tried. I'm not the best at answering these questions. Yeah, obviously my favourite, Uniball Signo white gel pen. I can't colour without one of those. I don't think I can. I've ever coloured a picture of one of those since I actually found out they existed. I've used them in like all my colourings, and probably more than I should really. But it's just so much fun going in. Is it highlight, highlight, highlight? Yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, I haven't actually got a white Posca. I don't. The only Posca that I've got is one really super thin gold one, and it's really, really old. I don't know how long I've had it, years, and that's like the only Posca pen I have. I do have a couple of acrylic paint pens, and that's mainly because they're selling them in the Poundland. If anybody lives in the UK, we all know Poundland. They sell the Dalu Rounding, I think, paint pens for like 50p. There's I think pink and blue for 50p, and then gold and silver are £1, and they do black as well. And they haven't done white. I've been on the lookout in case they do come up with a white, just to test it out. Even if the nib would be slightly wider than what I would actually want, but yeah, they haven't had them in with white, and they haven't even had any blue for a while. But yeah, no, I'm digressing, which is nothing unusual for me. But yeah, those are the only paint pens I've got, and no experience with Posca really. I think we need to bring in the bit of a white here so that the lamp can be shining on it. Let's make sure that yellow light is looking like it's shining down there. Keep going over these layers of the red colours I've got. There is not a huge choice of reds. No Indian red or anything like that. The darkest one I have is like the geranium, so that's why I've brought in the brown. Let's try and blend that Prussian blue in. I'm going to have some quite dark shadows here because we're behind the light source. So yeah, I'll probably cut a little bit. There'll be a little bit of a jump there, but I erased in the middle there to make that look a bit lighter. And yeah, that's working a lot better now. Maybe we'll erase the other side. Again, just playing to see how this will work. Keeping it kind of informal. No, no organised colour alongs for me. But I think I'm trying to at least show how I'm colouring these things. I will try and get on to show how I've been colouring the gold before we finish. Hopefully, if I have time, I will try. But yeah, I do like this Prussian blue as a shadow colour. It does seem to work quite well using the unusual, this is geranium red, the unusual colours with Christine Karron, because it seems to fit because she does it herself, which is I want to try and learn to do. Like all the lovely tones she brings into her skin. I do love Christine Karron's like original artwork. Let's see, let's bring in that. cross-hatching kind of to try and show this threadbare kind of robe. It is so much fun taking a colouring page. I do it quite a lot and turning it into a different character. I do love to do it, like a book you're reading, or as I've said before, I'm into like tabletop role play, so occasionally I will take a colouring page and turn it into one of my characters that I actually play, which really makes it fun to do. I do love to do it. But anyway, where were we? Next question, number 12, morning colouring or night colouring? And I'm probably going to be really awkward with this one as well, because my colouring time, I'm not a morning person. It is generally lunchtime. But then at night time, everyone is home from work and school, and they kind of take over the front room with playing on their game consoles. And I live with my partner and my son, teenage son, so they tend to take over the front room on their game consoles and taking over the sofa. So if I'm going to do any colouring, it's generally like the afternoon. If I'm filming, I'd usually start around lunchtime and hopefully finish, well, depending on what day it is, hopefully try and finish by 2 or 3 at the latest, so that by the time they get back from work and school, I can be editing and I've got the main bit done, so I can just go on the PC and do the editing while they're busy with their thing. Plus, if I'm filming, I tend to take over the table. We have a table in the front room. It's kind of we have kind of a front room diner. We have a very small kind of a 2-bed apartment, so yeah, there's not loads of room to have a dedicated like craft room or anything like that, as much as I would love it. So yeah, I tend to take over kind of half of the front room, half with the dining table while everyone's away in work or school, and then by the time they come back in like 4 o'clock, I think, they're back from school, and then in the evening partner's back from work. So yeah, if I colour, it's sort of mid-afternoon. I can at night, but it tends to be a bit too dark, and my colours never turn out. If I colour in the evening, the colours never turn out exactly how I want them to. So if I'm going to colour, long story short, mid-afternoon. Going up here, I think, with the red brown. We're getting further away from the light source now, so we should be able to go a little bit darker and still be looking right. Okay, the next question is Jade Summer or April Amber Chibi Girls? Again, I don't have a lot of experience with the Jade Summer or April Amber. I don't have a lot of their colouring books. None, in fact. Don't have any of their colouring books, that sounds better. Apart from, I might have one Jade Summer Art Nouveau. I can't quite remember who that's by. It could be Jade Summer. Yeah, so I can't really say. The only chibi I've ever coloured really is by Jash Lee, and that's from Colouring Heaven. I love Jash Lee chibis, so I'll stick with those for a while, I think. Next question, before I get carried away. Colouring in his robe. Next question is Alan Roberts or Emily Lyderhall Oberg? Well, I don't have any Emily Lyderhall Oberg. I don't have a heck of a lot, do I? But yeah, I don't have any of hers, but I do love Alan Roberts. Especially I have his, well, I would say especially the ones I have are the Christmas book and the, oh, what's it called? Haunt of Fame. Those are the ones I have. And yeah, I do love the kind of darker side of things, the colouring sometimes. I don't mind, as long as it's not too gory. I don't mind the total. I don't really like the whole gore thing. Put a bit of that red reflecting onto the gold on thinking about it. I'm not too huge on the whole gore thing, but yeah, the humour in it is great. I do love that Haunted Fame one with the famous zombies. It is awesome. I want to colour in that one again. I'm not entirely sure if I can be cheeky and say, because they're male, the zombies are male, I can count them as men. So there we go. Shall I show you how I'm doing the gold? While I'm thinking about it. The answer to that question, anyways, Alan Robert or Emily Idleholt Oberg, is Alan Robert. Okay, my combination for gold. These are Castle Arts Gold. 121 GP Walnut Brown. Is that 291? 291. Oh, 231 GP Earth Green. 076 GP Green Gold. But that one isn't showing up too well on this marker, so. And also Primrose Yellow 002. So these are the ones that I usually shade gold with. I really couldn't come up with a combination for gold from that limited amount of browns, I'm afraid. I tried down here a lot this morning and it really wasn't working for me. Anyway, walnut brown. I'll just put a shadow in under this arm. I have no idea what colour to do this staff. I'm hoping I can make it stand out from the browns. Hopefully. So that's the walnut brown. Next we're going with the earth green. I really like this combination for gold. I don't usually do it on top of the marker. Mainly because this lightest one, well, the mid-tone green gold, doesn't show up super well. It doesn't show up super well at all on top of the marker because the marker is kind of the same shade. But when I bring in the Primrose Yellow to kind of blend it all in the middle, it sort of makes a nice gold kind of a blend. That's the word I was looking for, a blend. We don't want it to be too... Right, shall we bring in the yellow? This is a lemon yellow Amazon Basic. We'll just bring in the yellow there, just to show that that light is shining on it from the staff. It seems to work quite well. So yeah, that's how I've figured out how to do the gold there. And then I just took the Dovecraft glitter glue in gold and did a very, very tiny amount and spread it with my finger just to give a bit of a hint of gold on it, because Rincewind, as I said, he does have lots of glitter and sequins and gold. So that's how I'm doing the gold. Well, I've got it in my hands. Let's try and put it around his beard here. There is a pattern kind of drawn onto this collar, but I don't think I'm going to pay too much attention to it because I'm trying to keep it fairly simple just to have fun with it. So you don't have it, even if it's there, you don't have to color it. You can color over it, doesn't matter. Do it how you want to do it. Okay, earth green, and I've meandered away from the questions again. Let me have a look. Double set of images or just one copy? Oh, definitely just one copy for me. I don't know. I'm a bit of a skinflint and I don't really like paying for two sets of images when I could, you know, just scan them in and print them out myself if I ever want to. If I ever want to colour the same image again, I will scan it in and print it out. So just having one is more than enough for me. It's not very often that I do colour the same picture twice. I've maybe done it twice, if that even, you know, coloured the same picture twice. Green, gold. Yeah, it's not very often at all. So just one set of images. And then I kind of feel like I'm not wasting my money getting, you know, 2 lots when I could just get 1 lot and pay less, if that makes sense. So yeah, just one set of images is fine with me. I do have a couple of, I'll have 2 Hanna Lynn. Yeah, 2 Hanna Lynn that have double sets of images. And yeah, Selena Fenwick tends to give you 2 sets of images as well, I think. But I'm not a fan of it personally. Although it does give you more kind of leeway if you do make a mistake with one of them. You don't have to bother printing out, you can just go and colour the other set of images that you have. So let's try a bit of white in there. This is not looking as gold as I would like it to. Maybe it needs that yellow. That helps, I think. Maybe we can bring a tiny bit of the black. Where's the black? Here it is. Tiny bit of the black over the very shoulders, because there wouldn't be a lot of light up there anyways. There we go. Maybe behind his hands as well. Just as a little bit of a shadow to give extra definition where his fingers are coming there. There we go. Wouldn't be so shiny when there's not that much light. Maybe, yeah, around there. Bit of light. And I like to try and add a tiny bit of reflected colour, the colours that are around it, so a bit of a hint of red. Just to make it look a little bit reflective. White gel pen, just a little bit around the edges, where that light would be coming, I think. Yeah, it seems to be working quite well. Next question. Joanna Basford or Kirby Rosanes? Well, to be honest, I'm probably going to make myself really unpopular and say I'm not much of a fan of Joanna Basford. I was tempted by her Worlds of Wonder. I was tempted, and I did actually buy one and gave it to my mum. Gave it to my mum for Christmas. So I did have a bit of a flip through of it, and I was tempted because it's not so much flowers. She does a lot of flowers, and I am not a flower colorist at all. So yeah, the flowers tend to put me off a lot with Joanna Basford. And yeah, I do have Enchanted Forest, which I got when I very first started colouring. I think at the time I was determined that I was going to finish it. But yeah, I'm not. I am not going to finish it. I think I still have a whip from like years and years ago when I was still using gel pens and water-based markers like felt tips in there. I don't think I'm ever going to go back and finish that one. It was one of the double page spreads. I remember it's got mushrooms and flowers and stuff on it. But yeah, definitely, yeah, I'm not a fan of Joanna Basford, to be honest. I would much rather Kirby Rosanes. My favourite is Mythomorphia. Is my favourite one, though I do like the Alien Worlds one. It's really cool. The only one I don't really like the doodly kind of stuff that he does. I'm not so much a fan of that. Like there's a lot of it in Animorphia. I do have Animorphia, but yeah, there's a lot of the doodly kind of stuff. And Imaginemorphia, lots in there. I do prefer that he kind of moved away from that a lot into the kind of mythic world and Mythomorphia kind of stuff that he does. But I'm not really a fan of Fragile World, to be honest. Again, I'll probably make myself really unpopular, but I'm not really a fan of Fragile World. I think it's way too realistic. I did say, was it last time, that realism just stresses me out. If I try and make something look kind of photorealistic, it really gives me a lot of stress because I want it to be perfect, and obviously it's never going to be. And I've said that's the advice that I try to keep to myself, is not stress about making things perfect, as it's never going to be. But yeah, it's all when I'm trying to do realism, it's always a niggle in the back of my mind that yeah, it's not perfect. And yeah, the Fragile World, the photos are so lifelike that you want to try and color it to be lifelike, and yeah, it puts me off. I'd rather do the more stylized. And that's just me personally, though. I've seen so many like gorgeous colorings from Fragile World, but I just can't do it myself, unfortunately. I know that if I bought it, I would start and then get kind of intimidated or bogged down in the details and worrying about how to get it to look right. I just know I would. I'd rather stick to the more kind of stylized ones that they're a bit more forgiving if you make a mistake and it doesn't it doesn't look like entirely like the animal it's supposed to. Okay, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of the glitter glue to the gold. It's a very, very little amount. The stars on his hat I'm going to try and make like fully gold glitter. I don't have any sequins I can stick on, which is quite annoying. I know it's supposed to have sequins on it, but we're going to have to make do with the glitter glue, I think. Alright, I'm going to head back to my red now. Try not to put my finger in the glitter glue, which is always the hard part for me. As you can see, I've carried the red down into the background behind all these leaves, which will give them a nice contrast, hopefully, if I do the leaves green. I haven't quite decided on the toadstools yet, because usually I do them red, but all my red is used up in his robe, so I'm going to have to think of something to work with that. Brown, maybe. We are talking Discworld, so they don't have to be realistic. As I was saying, realistic is kind of a bugbear of mine. I can never get it right. Always gives me so much stress, and I end up getting too stressed, and like, yeah, I'm not enjoying it once I start getting stressed with it. But yeah, I've carried the red down, following this frame in the background, and my plan is still, hopefully, to bring in watercolors and gouache paint to fill in the rectangle in the back, and put a bit of stars down to like look like space. I'm toying with the idea of, yeah, adding a moon. I don't know. We'll just see. Maybe just keep it simple and stop trying to overcomplicate things and just do a galaxy background. That might be a lot easier. Just putting in some bit of a Prussian blue. Some shadows behind these leaves, and we'll move on to the next question. Pastel background or acrylic paints background? Oh, I have done both. I think if it's acrylic paint, I tend to use the black, just to black it out. That is particularly useful if there's bits in the background that you don't like, you don't want to colour, background's too complicated, or it's like a repetitive pattern. Which is, yeah, definitely something I never want to colour. Repetitive patterns, I really don't get on with them well with them at all. So if it's acrylic paint, I tend to black it out, which, yeah, has its place. It does work really well. If that's what you want to do, just basically get rid of the background. You can use the black acrylic paint, which is something I've used quite a lot. But lately, yeah, I have tried using the chalk pastel, which I also like, for doing the kind of the grungy kind of parchmenty looking backgrounds. Geranium red. I do have a tutorial on that, but I do them using chalk pastel in like a few shades of kind of yellow, yellow ochre, and giving a nice parchment style background, which I love to do. And I think I'd rather do that than do the acrylic paint, I think, but ooh, without the acrylic paint I wouldn't be able to black out the backgrounds that I don't like. Although I think, yeah, I do love my kind of grungy style background, so I'd probably have to go for pastel just because of that. Just because of the yeah, the grungy style backgrounds. But then each, to be honest, both. There's a lot of questions that I've answered and neither, but for that one I think my answer would be both. Okay, I'll give you that kind of threadbare look again. Not so much over here because the light isn't shining too well, but still trying to make his robe look all worn out. I have added a few threads off the edge of his hat there. I added them in with pencil, just a mechanical pencil. Went over them with a white gel pen just to make it look as if there's a few threads kind of hanging off his hat, to make it look all threadbare and worn out. And I completely forgot what the question was. Pastel, oh, pastel or acrylic. Yeah, I think if I really had to choose, only do one forever. Probably pastel, and then if anything has a repetitive pattern, I can just, pastel over it instead of totally blanking it out. I can just give it a coat of pastel and it'll work either way. So, yep. Next question is Hanna or Jasmine Becky Griffith? Oh, I have both, but yeah. I do have books by both, but I would just say that Jasmine Becky Griffith is one of my favourite illustrators, like, ever. I know I have a list of at least 10 that I say that about, but yeah, she is the one that kind of got me into colouring, sort of, because after my mum bought me the skull book, the candy skull book that I finished, I went out shopping, and I went, while we were away, I was with my mum, I went out shopping and I saw Colouring Heaven, Jasmine Becky Griffith's Colouring Heaven, the, what's it called, Strangelings special, and it's suddenly gotten really dark. I don't know why. I'm hoping my colours are still showing up. There we go, it's suddenly gone really dark. But yeah, I was out shopping with my mum. We went to Asda and they had the Jasmine Becky Griffith's Colouring Heaven special, and of course, yeah, I fell on that because I do love Jasmine Becky Griffith, and that's the first kind of serious, I suppose, colouring book, or magazine in that case, I guess, that I had. That was Jasmine Becky Griffith, and yeah, she is my go-to when I feel like, when I'm down or something, or I don't know what to colour. It's like, Jasmine. Even, I think she's one of the only illustrators whose name my partner actually knows. It's Jasmine. But yeah, she's like one of my favourite all-time illustrators. So I would go for her. Even though Hanna Lynn, yeah, I've bought a load of her books. I bought them on the sale she had on Amazon fairly recently. So I do want to get into colouring those. I'm going to take a few of those away, or at least a couple of those away when I go on holiday in the summer. Next month I'm going to be going up to stay with my parents, which I know I keep going on about, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm probably going to take some of those with me. And I do have one that has double pages. the mythical creatures or something, mythical maidens and creatures. So I can take that one, and if my mum actually wants to, because she colours as well, if my mum actually wants any of them, I can let her have some of the double images, so that'll be quite nice. Or we can both colour the same one at the same time. I don't know, it might be nice, but depends how she's feeling. It would be nice. So yeah, for that question, yeah, Jasmine Becky Griffith. Every time, I'm afraid. Next, Amazon or Etsy? Amazon. Definitely Amazon. I don't really buy off Etsy that much. I have bought a couple of... I really have to like the picture to buy it off of Etsy. I've bought a few Lana Green. Maybe Christine Karron, have I? I might have done. Those kind of things are what I tend to buy off Etsy, and I did buy one book because Book Depository was closed, and there's not really many avenues open now for like the Japanese or Korean books, so I bought one of those off of Etsy. But normally, yeah, I like my Amazon warehouse bargains. Okay, trying not to make this video drag on too long. I did get a little bit carried away there and just colouring without talking. But the next question, glitter gel pen or stickles? Well, if we include the Dovecraft glue, then I would definitely say that. I use those a lot more than I use glitter gel pen. If I use gel pen, it's either gold or silver or the white that I use for highlighting quite a lot. So yeah, stickles, although I don't actually have... I only have the one bottle of stickles, which I actually found in a charity shop. Though I don't know why anybody would get rid of stickles, but that's the one stickles that I have. I think it's called Copper. That's the one that I have, £1 from a charity shop. Yeah, I do like my bargains. but yeah, I love glitter glue in general. And we even got a bit of Rincewind here, but yeah, glitter glue rather than gel pen, I think. I don't really have many gel pens aside from the ones I mentioned, so that one would be quite an easy answer. Next one is hardback or soft cover books. Be honest, it doesn't bother me either way, because either if I'm filming, I'm colouring on the table, which is where I'm colouring now, which is obviously a nice surface to be colouring on, and it doesn't matter what colour, what the cover of the book is. And if I'm colouring on the sofa, which is where I colour when I'm not filming, probably really bad for my back, but yeah, where I colour when I'm not filming is on the sofa. And I use I've got an A3 size hardback sketchbook, so I rest onto that when I'm colouring on the sofa. And yeah, that doesn't make a difference whether the cover of the book I'm colouring is hard or soft. So, I mean, the hardback books, I do have one or two. I think I have one Hanna karlzon and one Masha Vandenberg, I think. Are the ones I have. Okay, bit of a pause there while I did some erasing. It's all trial and error, as I said. But yeah, the hardback books they kind of No, you'll know what I mean when I say they feel better. They just feel substantial, don't they? It doesn't. Yeah, they just feel substantial. I don't think it's the having a surface to lean on that is too much of the problem. I think it's that, yeah, the whole feel of it just feels better when you've got a hardback book, and it just feels better quality, you know. Even though the pictures that are in a softback book could be exactly the same, it just feels like you've got a better quality book if you've got a hardcover book. But again, it's one of those that doesn't matter super much to me, as long as the paper's nice, the pictures are good. If they're not, if neither, I can copy it onto my own paper and color it that way. So it doesn't really make a lot of difference to me, but for the feel of it and for looking nice on your bookshelf, then the hardback books would probably be better. But yeah, either, I think, on that one. As I've said, there's been a few where I've said neither, but yeah, for that one, either. Let's talk about sleeve coming around there, so I add a bit of the white highlights. Gonna try and blend out my shadows a little bit down the side here. The next question, we're still in the questions. Simple image or intricate? If we're not talking like super simple, then I don't really mind. So sometimes when you're tired, you don't want anything that's too super intricate or going to take too long to do. And sometimes when you're in the mood for it, you just want to do something with all the details. You're like, I'm going to color all the details, and you go for it, and you really want to get it done. So I think in general, I tend to go for the more intricate. Yeah, this one. Razor shavings. This one is kind of simple, I guess. These leaves are fairly intricate, but as pictures go, it's fairly simple. So sometimes that's all you want, just to relax and put the colour on the paper and do something really simple and feel proud of it when it's done. Which, yeah, we all like that. I love to do it all the time. I think in general, though, if I had to choose, I had to choose Fate of the World in Balance, blah blah. Probably intricate, to be honest. Because simple is, yeah, if you're tired, you just want some mindless colouring, then simple is great. But I think most of the time, if I've got a day off and yeah, I'm not really too tired or have other things to think about, then intricate would do me a lot better, I think. Like, although sometimes you can have pictures that are too intricate. A nice medium would be a nice medium would be perfect. Okay, looking at the time, we're heading on quite time-wise now. I think I have shown you how I've done the red and how I've done the gold, so I can kind of wind up and either color his hat off camera or carry on filming. So I do have the option for a speed color if I've colored his hat on camera, but I just finish off these questions and then we'll probably be calling it for today, I think. So the last question, Christmas pages or Halloween pages? I do not color Christmas pages. I seriously don't. I've coloured maybe one or two in my colouring kind of journey career, and I don't really enjoy them. I think one of them was an advent calendar that I tried to colour one little picture every day for like up till Christmas, for the start of December up till Christmas, and I didn't enjoy it. I really didn't enjoy it. I ended up leaving most of the pages all to be done on one day, and then I just had a burst of energy saying, right, I'm going to finish this off so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, I do not colour Christmas. Oh dear, yeah, I'm going to be unpopular again. I don't really colour Christmas pictures. Halloween, yeah. I mean, I don't mind Christmas pictures that are more kind of generally winter themed. Just with oh, I've gone up too far. I don't mind Christmas pictures that are generally more winter themed rather than Christmas. I can go for those, but yeah, Christmas pictures for some reason don't really appeal to me. Halloween ones I love, especially the more darker kind of gothic-y sort of Halloween ones. Then yeah, I colour those all the time. I can colour those when it's not Halloween. But Christmas I don't even really, I don't do it all really. I've been trying to kind of build myself up to do one for Christmas in July this month. But I keep looking at the very few Christmas pictures I've got and just going, no. I do have, that I did colour for last Christmas, some more kind of alternative Christmas pictures. I have the Alan Robert Christmas book, which is really cool, and I coloured my favourite picture out of that. So yeah, I like those. And last year Bennett Klein came out with a set of pictures of oh, I can remember what it's called. Oh, Krampus. Yeah, I love those. I've got his Krampus book, but I did start one and then kind of it fell by the wayside. But yeah, I have Bennett Klein's Krampus book, which is awesome. So yeah, that kind of Christmas pictures I can get behind. Anything more kind of darker, but still Christmassy, then yeah. Otherwise, the cutesy Christmas just, it doesn't really appeal to me for some reason. I'm not much of a seasonal colorist at all. So yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me. So that's the last of the questions. We've probably been going for over an hour actually. I did want to get the whole of his hat done, so I might carry on with that off camera. If anybody has stuck with me, then thank you very much for sticking with me all the way through. If I can figure out combinations for the green and decide what I'm doing with my mushroom, come up with an idea for the owl, maybe I'll do another episode for that, and then one for showing how I do a galaxy background. Maybe that will be a plan. We'll see how it goes, but for now I'll just finish off his hat here and put the, just so I can put the glue onto the glitter glue onto the stars. I'll try and finish off his hat. So yeah, I'll catch up with you at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm going to be leaving him there for today. Now I've finished off all his robes and his hat, just using the same combinations that I showed you earlier. I filled in the stars on his hat just with kind of solid glitter glue. So I've just got to wait for that to dry now. I've left the top bit of his hat fairly light because I'm hoping to make this quite a dark background, maybe dark blue and a bit of black with little stars, shiny stars sprinkled onto it with the white spatter, hopefully, so that will make the light hat stand out against the dark background. That's the plan anyway, but if I need to work back into it, I can always work back into it once the glue is dry. But for now I'm going to be leaving it as it is and just letting the glue dry. So hopefully you enjoyed watching that and hearing my answers to the questions. A bit long-winded, some of them, and a couple I had to leave out because I couldn't really answer, but hey, I'll probably try and do at least one more part showing how I'm going to do the background. Maybe I'll do the plants and stuff off camera. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. But for now, I'm going to leave him as he is and let the glue dry before I close the book. And thank you for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye.